Most women I speak with could tell me exactly how many calories are in a glass of wine. They know which foods cause bloating and the exact weight they were at in their 20s. But if I asked them about their bone density, most of them would go quiet. And that silence is exactly the problem. Because right now there are women in their 30s, 40s and 50s who are unknowingly doing things every single day that are quietly undermining the very structure that holds them upright. And they won't find out until something breaks, literally. This video is not about osteoporosis, and I'm not here to scare you with statistics. This is about why so many women, smart, health-conscious women, are setting themselves up for problems decades from now, and what the women who age the strongest are doing differently. We live in a world that is absolutely obsessed with how women look. Belly fat, cellulite, wrinkles, weight. And I'm not saying that those things don't matter to people, they clearly do. But the amount of mental energy, money and time that women pour into those concerns, compared to almost zero time spent thinking about their bones. That gap is costing women their independence later in life. Osteoporosis is called a silent disease for a reason. There are no symptoms, no warning signs. You don't feel your bones becoming less dense. You don't wake up one morning and notice. The first sign for many women is a fracture. A fall that shouldn't have been serious. A wrist, a hip, a vertebrae. And by that point, significant bone loss has often already happened over many, many years. And the decisions that determine your bone health at 65 are being made right now. In your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, that's the window that matters most. And most women don't even know that this window exists. Bone is living tissue. It's constantly being broken down and rebuilt. Think of it like a renovation that never stops. Up until around your late 20s, your body is building more bone than it breaks down. That is how you accumulate peak bone mass, the maximum density your skeleton will ever reach. After that, the balance shifts. Breakdown begins to outspace building, slowly at first. Then menopause happens. And when estrogen declines, bone loss accelerates significantly. We're talking about the potential to lose up to 20% of bone density in the 5 to 7 years around menopause. That is not a small number. Women also tend to have smaller, less dense bones than men to begin with. And we live longer, which means more years for that bone loss to accumulate. And 1 in 2 women over the age of 50 will experience an osteoporosis-related fracture in their lifetime. 1 in 2. And a hip fracture in an older woman is not just painful. It can genuinely be life-altering. It's one of the leading causes of a loss of independence, and many women never fully recover. This is not a niche concern. This really is one of the most significant health risks women face, and it gets almost no airtime compared to breast cancer, heart disease, or the latest supplement trend. Here's what I find so frustrating as a dietitian. The things that are undermining women's bone health are not mysterious. They're not rare conditions or bad genetics. They are habits, often habits that have been quietly encouraged by wellness trends. Over the last decade, dairy has become villainized in wellness culture. It causes inflammation, it causes breakout, it's not natural for humans to consume the milk of another mammal. There's all these reasons thrown out there. And so a huge number of women, and women who do not have lactose intolerance or an allergy to dairy, or a personal, religious or ethical preference to avoid it, women who have genuinely all along been okay consuming dairy, have now removed it. All because this wellness world told them that it was a problem. But dairy remains one of the most bioavailable sources of calcium that we have in our diets. The calcium in milk is absorbed well. It comes packaged with protein, with phosphorus, and vitamin D if it's fortified. It's genuinely very hard to replace dairy milk like for like. Now you can absolutely build strong bones without dairy, and I'll give you tips on that too. But you have to be doing it intentionally. You have to know your numbers and you have to replace what you've actually removed. But most women are not doing that. They're just removing dairy and assuming oat milk or almond milk has it handled when it does not. Now I want you to think about your relationship with food over your lifetime. Many women have had periods of constant dieting, constantly trying to be smaller. And they've been forced to believe that weight loss or being thin is the ultimate marker of health. This has led them to years of under-eating, sometimes very significantly. And while some dieting and wanting to lose weight is fine, going too far on the other side of the spectrum does not do well for your bones, because your body requires energy to build and maintain that bone tissue. And when you're always under eating, your body is prioritizing whatever fuel it does get for survival, not for rebuilding that bone. And low body weight is one of the most significant risk factors for osteoporosis. And it's not because being thin is inherently bad. You can be thin and have great bones. It's because the behaviors that might lead someone to be chronically underweight, these often involve a lot of restriction that the skeleton has to pay for. And yet the wellness industry has spent years, and I would argue that it's almost getting worse now again, rewarding women or making you feel like you have to be as thin as possible. It's celebrating thinness, which your bones are never going to be impressed by a number on scales. Now, walking is fantastic, cycling is fantastic, a spin class, a swim, a run, all of these are really good for your health. But what people don't seem to know is that all of this cardiovascular exercise is great for your heart, but it does nothing for your bones. Bone responds to load. When you place mechanical stress on the skeleton, through resistance training, through weight bearing, your body responds by building bone to meet that demand. A woman who has walked 5 kilometers every day for 20 years has done something wonderful for her cardiovascular system and her mental health, but she has not done anything meaningful for her bone density. And the number of women that I speak to who have never lifted a weight in their life, who consider themselves fit and active, who are then genuinely shocked when they find out that their bone density is not in a good place. That number is not small. So resistance training is not optional when it comes to bone health, it's mandatory. Now, muscle and bone are deeply connected. Muscle pulls on bone during movement. That's part of what stimulates bone to stay dense. And as we age, maintaining muscle mass becomes one of the most important things we can do for our long-term health and independence. Protein is what muscle is made from. And a large number of women are still not eating enough of it, particularly as they get older. And it's not about drinking protein shakes or following some kind of a bodybuilder diet. It's about consistently making sure there is some protein from a whole food at every meal that you sit down to eat, at breakfast, lunch and dinner. Eggs, fish, meat, legumes, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt. These are the raw materials your body needs to keep that tissue strong. Now, vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption. Without it, your body can't properly utilize the calcium that you consume, regardless of how many supplements you take or how much dairy you take. And if you live in Ireland, the UK, or anywhere in Northern Europe, there is a very high chance you are deficient in vitamin D for a significant portion of the year. From October to March, the sun is not strong enough at our latitude to produce meaningful vitamin D through the skin. So governments recommend that most people supplement during these few months, yet most people still are not doing it. And a simple blood test can tell you where your levels are, and a low-cost supplement can address it. This is one of the most straightforward things that you can do, and one of the most commonly neglected. Now, if you're in your 20s or 30s watching this, I need you to hear this. The habits that you are building right now will determine the peak bone mass you will carry into the second half of your life. Peak bone mass is set largely by your late 20s. You cannot go back and rebuild that at 55. What you can do at 55 is slow the loss. You can maintain, you can protect what's there. But the window for building, that's now. So bone health should not be something that you think about when your doctor mentions osteoporosis at a routine checkup at the age of 60. By then, you are managing a condition that could have been prevented. The women who are strongest in their 60s and 70s do not start caring about this in their 60s and 70s. So let's talk about what actually works. Because this video is not meant to be about fear. It's about making informed decisions. And these things are genuinely in your control. So you need to be eating enough, full stop. It's okay to go on a weight loss diet, but you shouldn't be dieting all your life or for over a decade. Clearly, something is not working if you're doing that. We need to be thinking about fueling and nourishing our bodies. You need to be prioritizing protein consistently at every single meal, every single day throughout the course of the week. And you need to be getting in adequate calcium. I'm going to leave a free resource down below that explains calcium requirements, where you can get it from dairy and from non-dairy sources for people who don't want to consume dairy. But obviously your great choices are going to be your milk, yogurt, cheese. If you're lactose intolerant, you can buy lactose-free milk, yogurt and cheese. If you want to avoid that completely, you can use the plant-based milks and the plant-based formulations, but just make sure you look for ones that are fortified with calcium and vitamin D. Then other really good sources of calcium are things like tinned sardines or tinned salmon with small bones. Sesame seeds are great, or tahini. And tofu is another very good option, but you need to check the ingredient list and make sure that the setting age used is something that has calcium in it. But I'll leave a resource linked down below with all that information. And as mentioned, you need to also be lifting those weights, checking your vitamin D levels, and if needed, likely needed, you need to be supplementing with vitamin D. It's also definitely worth a conversation if you're in perimenopause or menopause with your doctor about HRT. The evidence on HRT and bone protection has shifted significantly. It is a conversation worth having and not something to be ignored out of old fears. And so I want to leave you with an image. Picture yourself at 75, not just alive, but well, traveling, carrying your own bags, climbing stairs without thinking about it, getting down on the floor to play with your grandchildren, and getting back up again without help. That version of you is not determined by luck. It is not purely genetics. It is built slowly, consistently, over decades by the decisions you make about how you eat, how you move, and what you actually prioritize. Strong bones are not a vanity metric. They are not a medical checkbox. They are the physical foundation of your freedom. Now, if you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. And there's a new hype button as well that I'd be very grateful if you hit. If not already, I'd recommend subscribing because I have new videos every single week. Comment below with any questions or if there's anything in this video that stood out to you. I'm always happy to help. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.